To be here maybe 15-20 minutes earlier than we would have. Most importantly, we didn't expect the result to be the outcome it was. And thirdly, the person who performed it. A young man from Antigua, beautiful island with 365 beaches, thrown in the deep end, playing his first ever game, takes a wicket off his first ball in IPL cricket and then finishes with the best figures in the IPL. Figures that we'll remember with Anil Kumble in the Hero Cup way back when in 1993, took 6 for 12, and here again it was Alzarri Joseph with 6 for 12. What a performance, blowing away the Sunrisers Hyderabad. I think I'm in disbelief, as would my guest Joy Bhattacharya, Michael Vaughan. Even if we saw the Sunrisers going down or finishing second best, the manner in which they did it, no one could have predicted.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's great for the young West Indian Quig. I think he's a terrific talent. Really pleased with the fact that the West Indies have just started to come to life. Look at a lot of the talent over in the Isles over there, and you know, I do think that the West Indies over the last 15 years we've kind of missed them. You know, they've kind of been around that kind of precarious position of will they ever get back to what they were in the 80s? Probably not, but I do think they're getting a group of young players of what we've just seen tonight that are going to make the West Indies. Will they become the world force potentially? Because they've got a group of young players now that if they stick together, and Jason Holder as a captain, I really do think the West Indies cricket are on the upward curve. And you have to say, from a Mumbai Indian perspective, it's a great win. From a Sunrisers perspective, that is a terrible chase. That is a mindset freeze. That's the kind of chase as a coach in the rooms now. I'll be thinking, what have you lot just done?
Maybe you're thinking back, at this point, we all talked about ifs and buts, and we said that dropped catch of Kieron Pollard when he was batting 8 of 11 balls. Mumbai were looking, they would have scratched their way to 110, 112. It would have been totally different from 136 with that feeling going into the dressing room.
No, absolutely. I think that catch was really, could prove to be a match differentiator. But the other thing is that, as he would have said, the coaches of SRH would have been mad because Alzarri Joseph bowled a very fine spell, but what he basically did was bowled fast, bowled on the stumps. What happened? Warner got out, he was chasing a ball wide, edged it on. Okay, two of the batsmen walked across their stumps and tried to hit it over and got bowled for their pains. So 3 of his 6 wickets were just the batsmen just gifted away at a situation where they needn't have gifted it away. And all credit to the young man, he bowled straight and fast and created those opportunities. But the fact of it is, if you have to ask whether he's weaseled these batsmen out or they have themselves to blame, it's far more themselves to blame.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right to point out the Pollard drop catch, but you'd expect to chase that score. As a batting unit, as a team with confidence like the Sunrisers are, not only this year, but for the last few years, they're a team that know how to win. You know, when you're chasing that kind of total, you lose 2 early wickets in Bairstow and Warner, that middle order for the first time probably got put under pressure, and it failed miserably because they couldn't withstand the pressure, they couldn't have the skill to manoeuvre the ball into the gaps, and because they couldn't get the 1s and the 2s, they all had to go for these big shots. They all panicked and thought, right, we need a 6 or a 4 to try and get a bit of momentum going back our way, and it was the wrong option on that wicket. It just needed a little bit more of sense, it needed a little bit more of the lower risk style of cricket, as if you can play low risk cricket in T20 cricket. Tonight was a night where the Sunrisers need to go down in the risk category and go, right, okay, we don't need to really go into the high risk. All right, the first 6, Warner and Bairstow tried that, you know, but once they got to 40, 50, it was just medium risk cricket, just knocking it around, working the gaps, creating a partnership. One partnership would have got them over the line, and they couldn't gather that one partnership.
Sounds strange to say that, but is it almost the fact that all those wonderful performances from Bairstow and Warner have actually cost them this game in a sense, because they were so confident, they get out, and these guys are like, oh, we haven't done this before. What are we supposed to do now?
No, absolutely, and what will depress them a lot is the way some of their senior batsmen got out. I mean, Manish Pandey today is an India cricketer. He's a senior batsman. He went round looking for the big shot, couldn't find it, and the first chance he got, he hit it. Okay, he was unlucky, he hit it straight to the fielder. Yusuf Pathan has got out to the sweep or the slog sweep to the spinner 5 of the last 7 times. Every bowler knows that give it to him, let him try and drag it for you. He's either going to top edge it at some point or the other, or he's going to slog sweep it straight to mid wicket. And this happened 5 out of 7 times. Today's day of analysis, knowing it's not, and this is not technical analysis, it's like saying, mate, they're planting this at you. Don't do it early. Get yourself set. He got out in 0 trying that shot. And those are the kind of things that every coach will be looking at and say,
Michael, that's
God, the man has to listen.
That's not technical. That's the pain of a man who's seen it from the sideline.
Yeah, but it's also absolute sense, because the Sunrisers didn't lose that game tonight batting because of the skill of the opposing team's bowlers. They lost that game because of the way that they were thinking. You know, some of the shot selections were poor. All right, Chahar bowled some nice top spinners, but for the first time in the tournament, Johnny Bairstow lost complete shape. You know, that's not Johnny Bairstow. When he hits down the ground, he just keeps it down and he strikes through it. He was all over the place. You look at Warner for the first time in the whole tournament, you would say that he just completely lost shape. And that'll be a concern for Tom Moody, that his middle order, and it won't be the opening partnership that fires all the time. And particularly when Warner and Bairstow leave, you know, they've got an opening partnership to try and get going again, because you're going to have to rejig and start once again. So that middle order is going to have to come to the party. And for the first time in the tournament, as a coach, you'd be thinking, wait a minute, you're under pressure, go on. You're not even chasing a big target. Can you just play sensibly and win us the game? And they failed miserably at the first real attempt of being put under pressure. So that'll be disappointing for the Sunrisers management team. And
in a small sort of way, they did get off to a start. They did get 30 plus in 3 overs. They were looking like, oh my God, here we go again. We had our prediction 16th, 17th or 18th over. I was thinking, oh, there it goes, they're going to finish in 14. And suddenly maybe they were almost in a hurry to get things done.
Yeah. See, Warner was unlucky. That can happen. First ball, you try to hit it from outside, you drag it on, it happens. But, you know, Bairstow, his own downfall. Vijay Shankar, Manish Pandey, Deepak Hooda, what was he doing? 3 times he tried it. You know, 3 times he'd walked across the stumps and tried to hoik it out there. All that man had to do, Alzari Joseph had to do, is keep bowling it straight out there and hope he misses one time. He did. And that's exactly what's happened. He's telegraphing his intentions so early on. And look, when do you try those shots? When the run rate is 15, 16, 17, you're going across your stumps and you're like, you're going to try and cross bat right in the middle. You try that when the run rate is there. Your run rate, you're chasing 8 and 8.5 and 9 at that stage. What were they thinking?
It was a perfect example tonight of chasing a low tide. You get the 30 quickly, you lose 2 wickets, and you're just looking around each other. So, oh, you'll probably do it, or you'll probably do it. And before you know it, you've lost 7 or 8 wickets, and the pressure's really on, because that run rate just starts to gather even more. And that's always in a dressing room afterwards, when you know you should have won the game, and it's just been that lack of kind of thought, that lack of really being switched on and realising the kind of game that you needed to play on that wicket against that opponent, chasing that target. They just switched off at the key moments.
Yeah, it's a reverse result of what happened sometime
ago
at the Wankhede.
Sweet revenge for Mumbai. That probably last year, that, you know, chasing 122, getting out for 87 cost Mumbai that season. And this year, this could be the making of them, because, you know, Mumbai, by their standards, they're the latest to wake up. They never wake up before half the tournament's over. To be 3-2 at this stage for Mumbai is brilliant.
The last 2 wins, you know, the Chennai win at the Wankhede the other evening, they were out of that game until those last 2 overs from Hardik Pandya and Kieran Pollard. Then managed to field nicely. You would say at the halfway stage, or should we say after 17 overs of batting, they'd lost the game. Then Kieran Pollard just gets them a total, and they managed to squeeze a game and win another game that really, at the halfway stage, you didn't give them any chance of winning. So they're winning some real good games that they wouldn't have expected to, the Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, I mean, if you again look at this in isolation years down the line, you'd probably say, oh my God, what kind of wicket was this? He must have been completely unplayable.
Absolutely.
Full credit to him, as you said. But it was really, you'd have to look at the Hyderabad batting as well as the contribution from someone like Rahul Chahar, who really started things off even before he came out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved the way all their bowlers bowled. They bowled to their plan. They kept it well. Notice they brought in Bumrah early. They never bring in Bumrah early, so they made their intent very clear up front. The other interesting thing is, if Lasith Malinga comes back, and if this is the Mumbai team who's thinking sensibly, they'll probably tell Alzari, well done, son. Congratulations, you can sit for a while. It's back to Malinga. Because the fact of the matter is, he did his job really well. But it's not as if he's going to be their match-winning bowler every time. And I think the great thing about Mumbai is everyone came to the party. He was just the one who reaped the best rewards out of it.
Certainly did. And of course, it was a fairly simple decision that he is our MPL hero of the match, Alzari Joseph. 3.4 overs, yes, soaked this in. 6 wickets for just 12 runs, and this was his first ever IPL game. It started on the perfect note with a wicket of his very first ball.
You can only go downhill from that.
No, I just have to tell you this. The first season I remember with Brendan McCullum, and we were sitting in South Africa, season 2. We've lost 6 games in the trot. And he said, I played my first IPL game and he got 158 of 73 balls. And he said, this is easy. Yes, I can do this format. And he says, here I am 2 years later. So Alzarri Joseph would look at this probably and say, wow, I can play this game.
You absolutely can, yeah.
But as Michael said, whatever happens, it's going to go downhill from here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Baz has never matched that.
Never come close.
Yep. Sohail Tanveer was the previous record holder for 6 for 14 is what he got. We remember that first season, that winning season for the Rajasthan Royals when it all started off under Shane Warne. But this is very different. And you have to say a quick word about Rohit Sharma's captaincy. I mean, we've talked about the different captains who have had different approaches. We talked about MS Dhoni. Rohit Sharma was on song today.
Yeah, I just like it. I mean, he's clever. The way that he manoeuvred his bowlers, the way that he brought fielders in at the right time. But I just like his manner. I always look for body language for captains out in the middle, and he just looks in control. All right, he goes asking for a few bits of advice every now and again, but he just knows what he's about. If you're having to be sent messages as a captain at this format, at this level, when you're out in the middle, or you've got people running around the boundary like I saw Ashes Neera last night for the RCP, I don't like to see coaches move from the dugout. You've done your job. You don't manoeuvre around the boundary telling bowlers what to do. If you can't, it's like a football manager. You see them in football, they're in the dugout, and after 3 minutes they're on the side shouting. I'm going, what did you say in the dressing room 3 minutes before? So I'm not one for things like that. I like to see the leaders out in the middle just doing the decision making. And I think in Rohit Sharma, you've got someone that's just got a nice gift of being able to lead. He doesn't shout and he doesn't brawl. He just goes about his business in a very smart and clever way. He's a good captain.
Yes, we've got some people who had to make smart decisions, and I must confess that there were going to be very few people who would have put Alzarri Joseph in, especially as he was a last-minute replacement. But if you did that, you would have stood a good chance of becoming today's MPL Super Team hero. And I'm convinced if you've got 227.5 points, and you've got the sunglasses, Ajay Keswani, you would probably have had Alzarri Joseph. I'm not sure maybe as captain, but certainly in the team. Well. I tried to sort of sneak him in, but it's the perks of not working between the time the toss happens and the first ball is bowled. Oh well, next time I'm just going to use, sneak in.